going on YouTube? Welcome to another video. Joining me here for a slightly slanted bench workout because apparently when I set up my camera, I did not take that into account. So sometimes when the pre-workout's in your system and you're itching to bench, you don't angle your camera correctly. So the ball head was a little bit lopsided. But anyway, here we go. Slightly more straight angle here. And just working up on bench here. Close grip as usual. You know, it's kind of hard to get interesting angles of stuff. Angels, jeez. I like to think sometimes when I am benching, there are some angels with the spot. So, but you could also use the things on the side that I'm not using, which I should probably set up more often. Always set up safety spots, even if you have a spot. But anyway, working up on bench here. Did a single there. Okay, cool. All right, so like 280 or something here. I didn't put the placards with the weight in there, so I'm going to go off of gym math here and say that's 280. Okay, so 280 for doubles. Honestly, close grip has not been going too well for me, so I'm thinking of reevaluating and maybe turning it into a rep day or widening my grip, which to some would defeat the whole purpose of doing close grip, but you know, just for the tricep aspect of it, I don't know, it's just been uncomfortable, and I'd rather save the big benches for the wide grip day. It just makes more sense. That's where you're going to get the most amount of weight done, so you know, that's kind of my thing. So, but whatever, we're still going to keep moving and we adjust as we need, as long as the work gets done. That's all I really care about here. So dumbbells as per usual. And then I made another blunder here. I turned I think my shutter speed down to 125, which is why it looks like like what you see before the alcohol hits. But just trying to be consistent with the range of motion here, trying to make sure I touch my chest full and then not kill myself with these dumbbells when we come up. And then the incline fly here, I really love this machine. I love doing flies for chest hypertrophy. And this just makes it so much easier. You don't have to worry about dumbbells. You just got to set that pad in the crook of your arm, wherever you feel comfortable. And then it's very interesting. You can completely do the work with your elbow. It actually feels really cool. And the contraction's so much better. And you don't have to deal with the typical stuff with like dumbbells. So really happy with that. Started doing the reverse pec fly since we have it, and I've literally never done it before, so I want to see how that leads into some rear delt growth. Obviously nowhere lean enough to make a difference, but I figure might as well. Face pulls get kind of boring after a while, so some variety to mix stuff up and hit the same groups. And then we're squatting again, so this is a Saturday again because we're going SSB and then we're going more upright. So yep, just pushing away at the squats, hoping that we can just keep adding more poundage and get my mechanics down. Every now and then squats will feel like a foreign language where it's like you've done them for so long and then you just kind of have like a brain fart where you totally forget what your form is. So I'm trying to rebuild that with the shoes. You know, you can really sink into the hole a bit easier and then try to figure out where I want to be and how solid I want to be. And obviously we all overthink squats. I think honestly it's just the feeling of being underneath the squat where it feels like your entire body is just under load. And I think that's where we get worried about all the different risks and stuff with that. So I'm going to just keep experimenting with different ranges of motion as long as I get to like at least parallel and kind of go from there. But I'm honestly like not sure. I don't know. I may go back to the straight bar. I've been thinking about it, but then I'm also like, a lot of my issues started with the straight bar when it came to, you know, the mobility of the shoulder and the bicep, which led to the inevitable, geez, I don't even know what I was trying to say, inevitable tear. So why do that when you have this bar which perfectly encapsulated it and the one that I purchased, and it's just like, I don't know. Sometimes you just want to see. I'm feeling a lot more strength, you know, out of the hole though, now that I'm loading my hips and hamstrings correctly, and with doing the extra abduction and adduction machine, I'm hitting muscles that I wasn't hitting directly before. Obviously you're doing all that in this movement, otherwise it wouldn't be a squat, but to isolate them with the machine just helps reinforce that technique, and I'm starting to feel some weaknesses there. I didn't realize how weak my groin area was until I started doing them. And years ago when I was at a commercial gym, they did have a traditional like good girl, bad girl machine, and I was doing them like crazy and it was great. And then I went to a gym that didn't have them, and then you forget how important something is when you don't have it, but you're doing other things that hit those movements. So it's like, okay, is there really an importance or not? So I don't know. It's just, we're just gonna run with it. But I wanted to do something for glutes that's not as annoying and dumb as the kickbacks. Like I really wanted that lateral movement in the glutes to really hit all that. Like the glute kickbacks were nice, but they only hit certain, I can't remember which glute, which head of the glutes or whatever, but I wanted some overall more well-roundedness in the booty, and then well-roundedness with the way that I'm using my legs, so maybe there'd be some carryover there. So a little bit of finagling around here. I don't know what it is. I'm trying to get my knee on this pad and then find the correct position on my ankle to do these curls. I don't know why. Sometimes it's harder than usual. But yeah, just these added to everything else that I'm doing, I think we're building a pretty solid foundation. With the hamstrings, I think they've always been a stronger side to me. Just the glute, hamstring, back area. And then everything else is kind of like thrown. I don't know. I don't really know. I'm trying to figure out what the hell my body was designed to do and what it wants to do. So we're just doing the things that I enjoy. And this exercise has been pretty great so far. So I'm not complaining. But mainly, I don't know. It just feels like, you know, I don't want to get injured again. Sometimes you'll feel that tension, you'll feel the fatigue from other movements, and you want to be careful and cut back. But that's also the same mentality that pushes you forward. You know, you can do it within reason, but there were some times in the past before where I pushed things, it didn't turn out too well, and then you end up wheeling. So I'm just trying to be smart about all that and make sure I'm making the right decision so that I can keep making progress, because in this type of field, the name of the game is longevity and being able to continue to add and do stuff over time. It's about adding those reps, health, you know, of the body part and everything as well too, though. So you want to make sure you're really putting all that together, and then you can really get the time under attention over time. But that's the video. Like, comment, subscribe. See you the next one.
Thanks for watching the latest video. If you want to help support the channel, I actually own my own wet shaving and grooming e-commerce website where everything's handmade by me. It's www.apexsoaps.com, and you can get a 10% off code using wet shaver. We've got some cool scents here. We've got some Coca-Cola scents, a horchata scent, traditional barbershop, just some really cool stuff. And you can purchase samples or you can buy the whole set. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via email. Be quick to respond. Thanks for watching.